Hello and welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is a beautiful snowy day in PEI Canada, and it's just magical. I'm so grateful every morning. So I don't sleep with my curtains closed. Oh, by the way, hi Kaily.
Hey, Sarah.
I can tell you this story. So I don't sleep with my curtains closed. I sleep with them open. I'm very blessed because I live in an area where there's like no street lights. We don't keep our outside lights on, so it's completely black. But I love waking up in the morning, having that gratitude where I say thank you for another day, and then I immediately look outside. And you know how my favorite tree. I told
Yeah.
you about my favorite tree. I'm always like looking at it when I'm in the hot tub. Well, we face it, and I just get so excited to see it every morning, and it's just so beautiful when it's like covered in snow, and it's like magic. Like it's just magic. That's the only way I can say it. I'm feeling so grateful for today.
It is. It's so true. I love that you say that because whenever I'm like doing thinking or whatever, I always look out the window into nature. And where we just built our house, there's a provincial park behind it, like you know. But I was literally just looking out the window and there was 3 deer standing there. And I'm like, this is so cool that like even like when your mind's so busy, you
Yeah,
can just look into nature and like the deer have no worry in the world. They're literally just gracefully in nature living life.
yeah,
It's so
and
calming.
dodging fear.
Yeah.
I love that you said that though, right? Like we wake up and usually follow the same path, right?
Yeah.
And it had me thinking with that. I've been listening to like Les Brown a lot, and I was listening to something motivational this morning, and he was talking about we get in our head. Like we get so stuck in our head on past mistakes. I'm going to say it. Past mistakes, past things that happened to us. We play the victim, we upon the circumstances, and it keeps you stuck. And I had this conversation this morning with a woman, and she said, same old. I've known her for like 5 or 6 years now, maybe even more. And she's like, same old. Something always comes up, something always happens, and it's like we're manifesting that. And when we play the victim mentality, it continues to show up in our life. So we have the choice to either accept it, and this is going to be our life, and we suffer through to the end, or we make the choice to learn from our mistakes, change our mindset, change our frequency, and move forward and get over it, right? Let that shit go. It's my favorite line is let that shit go.
Hmm. It's so true, right, Sarah? And this is a topic lately that I've been talking about with quite a few people. And like the world we live in now is so different from what I grew up in. But the thing is, and a big conversation that I had with a lady just a few minutes ago too, was that all of the things in our past, if we don't deal with them and put it in to ease in our mind and literally like you just said learn from the mistake or whatever it was and move forward and get over it, we will always stay there. But the danger of that is that when you're in that place reliving that experience or mistake over and over in your mind, you're literally danger to yourself because you're creating all of the bullshit in your head
Yeah.
over and over thinking about it. And the biggest thing that I just told this lady about, and this is the thing, like she's stuck in her mind and a lot of people are. And I said to her, I said, just think about it for 2 seconds. I said, all of this stuff in your mind that's happening, whether it be a mistake that was made, a horrible thing that you went through, I said, whatever it is that's going on in your mind, I said, just stop for 2 seconds and ask yourself, is this serving me? Because it's not.
I love that you say that because I'm going through something right now, and I made a big mistake, and it's costing me, it's costing me my mindset, it's costing me finances, it's costing me my self-belief in myself. And I've kind of been stuck in it. Like I'm a human being too. Like I am a human being. I am not perfect, right? But I try to live a life of gratitude and of positivity and of abundance. And I made a mistake. And because I didn't do my research first and I hastily rushed into something, it's now causing me to really doubt myself and say, this is hard. Why did we ever get into this? And the famous line, I wish I could go back and undo this. I wish we never did that. And I was staying stuck for a couple of days. And I'm very grateful to have Kaily and our mastermind who's helped pushing me through, because without you guys, I would stay stuck in those negative thoughts. And I have Donnie that's going through this with me as well. And the thing that we have to understand is that our mistakes make us stronger. Our mistakes propel us forward. And I was listening to Les Brown this morning. You guys can check him out on YouTube. And he was talking about Walt Disney, right? He said, "Look how many times Disney went bankrupt, and how many times he had a nervous breakdown." But that doesn't stop. It didn't stop him, because what you do is when you fall, you literally get back up, you dust yourself off, and you start with where you're at. You meet yourself where you're at. I learned a huge lesson through this mistake. So now my goal is to always be prepared and be diligent and know the rules and what I need to do so that I avoid this mistake. Not to say that this mistake may never happen again, but to avoid this mistake, because it's going to happen. We're all going to make mistakes, right? Life is not a straight line. It's up and down. You're going to meet good people. You're going to meet not so good people. But we have to meet them where we're at, because you don't get in life what it is that you want. You get what you are, right?
That's powerful, Sarah. You get what you are. And the thing about mistakes, too, is that when you make mistakes, your mindset is a huge part of getting past that, because there's totally two sides of a mistake, right? So if you make a mistake and you realize it and you think, shit, I shouldn't have done that, right away you're basically analyzing that mistake, right? So you're thinking of all the things in your mind. The thing that's going to move you forward from that mistake or keep you there is the difference of looking at that mistake, analyzing it, and learning from it, and learning the lesson. So you're less likely to make the same mistake in the future because you learned from it. But then also there's parts in people's lives where they make a mistake, and I'm sure anybody can listen to this right now and relate with it, but there's people that make mistakes and it's not my fault. It's this person and this person and this person. And you're pointing the blame, right? Because you don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
So when you make a mistake, you need to learn from it, because I'm doing so much, and I'm literally studying God right now. And it's been mind-blowing to me. But the thing is, if you don't learn from your mistakes and you're always shifting the blame of the mistake you made onto somebody else, that mistake will likely come up over and over again, because I have a big belief in that mistakes are our learning curves in life to propel us forward if we deal with them in the right manner and we learn from them.
Yep. I used to play the victim. If something bad happened to me, I put the blame on other people. Well, this happened because you didn't do this, or this happened because you did do this. And I was always playing the victim, and it kept me small. It kept me broke. It kept me angry. It kept me not from reaching my dreams and propelling forward. It kept me scared, and it kept me, I don't want to say safe, but I kept going on this safe path, because if I put the blame on other people, then it wasn't on me. But I'm learning to accept my mistakes. I have admittedly accept my mistakes over and over and over again. And sometimes we have to forgive not only ourselves, but other people. And sometimes it's really fucking hard. It is really fucking hard to forgive other people who have defamed you, or, did you wrong or stole from you, right? It's hard. But forgiveness is the key. And the truth will set you free. I too am also studying God. I've been studying the Bible. We're doing a course together. And that's how life has to be, is you have to admit the mistake and get past it and just start again from where you are. So I was listening to Les Brown, and he's talking about, where he got to, and like where he was and where he got to, and he's talking about the story about, most people know the story about how he bought his mom, the house, right? And he was so excited about the house, he moved them in, and then all of a sudden he gets a call from the bank and says, Mr. Les Brown, you owe us $55,000. There's a lien on your house. He's like, what do you mean there's a lien on the house? He's like, there's a lien on the house because he didn't do a title search. Well, guess what? After he had to remove his mom from that house, his mom even said, "Good, I didn't even like this house anyways. It was hurting my knees. My arthritic knee is going up and down the stairs." She's like, "I don't care if you buy me a shack. It's the love. Like, I love you." And so when we do that, we set something free in emotion. And
Mhm.
I bet now every time he buys a house, he does a title search.
Right? But that's the thing. That's the even though mistakes, mistakes are different in everyone's mind. Now, mistakes to me, I'm not going to say I love them, but I appreciate them because I know that if I make a mistake, it was meant to happen because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have learned the lesson. I wouldn't have known, right? Just like the story you just said. Now, because that happened, moving forward in life, he's sure that he's always going to do a title search on everything,
Yeah,
right? So, mistakes are meant to be a part of our life. They
yeah,
are. And when you can look at a mistake and you can come to like ease and calmness in your mind to know mistakes are a good thing, and you can have the mindset around mistakes as being a positive thing, moving through any hard time, mistake, problem, whatever you want to call it in life, you're going to be a stronger person, not only in the moment dealing with it, but coming out of it.
yeah, absolutely. So the thing is we're so afraid to make mistakes because when we were in school, you would get a bad grade. When you were at a job, you would be reprimanded or fired. Right? So we became afraid to make mistakes. But mistakes help you grow. Without mistakes, we wouldn't have, penicillin. We wouldn't have the potato chip. We wouldn't have electricity. We wouldn't have cars, right? Because you had to make all these mistakes. It's like I didn't fail. I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
Yeah.
That's the mentality of it, because it is going to be up and down. Nothing is guaranteed. Even having children is not guaranteed, right? You can have children and give birth to this beautiful baby, but maybe it does bad things and ends up in prison or a serial killer, right?
Mhm.
Or you can have children and maybe they're just so smart that you can't keep up with them. Right? So nothing is guaranteed, but life is meant to be an adventure. And guess what? To have an adventurous life, you have to make mistakes. Right? You have to jump over puddles and skidoo down massive mountains, right? But that's the adventure of it. And I think it was Jim Rohn or maybe Zig Ziglar. I think it was Zig Ziglar who said about it. It's like you don't want to live a life of security. Like how would you feel living to 100 years old, suffering for a paycheck just to get to 100? It would be miserable. It would be a miserable life. But what if you live to be 100 and you've created all these memories and you had all of this love and in your heart, right? And you learn from those mistakes, because the best quote I ever heard was, create a life that when you're telling your grandchildren, you're telling them these exciting stories. Your grandchildren don't want to hear that you worked at the same factory for 65 years and then you retired and now all it is you sit on the couch and watch Jeopardy. They want to hear the adventures that you have and that you go through.
Yeah, exactly. Because if and I was listening to another thing on TikTok this morning and it was awesome. It was like a table talk and there was a whole bunch of people that are famous sitting around it, like actors, and they said this too shall pass. All of the hate, the doubt, the worry you're having about whatever situation it is right now, this too shall pass. All of the happiness, the celebrating, the good moments that you're having in life right now, this too shall pass. Every single thing in your life will pass, no matter good or bad, right? Like, think of your life right now and all of the mistakes that you have made, right? Because I don't think anybody in their entire life has never made a mistake. But think now back to all those mistakes and erase them, and you never made a mistake in life. You wouldn't be the person you are today. You wouldn't
Exactly.
know the shit that you know today.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hold your head high like you do today, right? Mistakes are meant to be made. They really, really are. And when you come to the conclusion in your mind, I'll say it again, that mistakes are a positive thing in life, it literally changes your entire life. And even mistakes that are hard as fuck to get through because you're so in the mistake and you're just like thinking, how am I going to get out of this? And you're so in a rut, this too shall pass. That's the thing. Everything passes. It doesn't matter. There, like what I just said's gone. It already passed.
Yeah.
What I'm saying right now, it already passed.
And
Everything passes.
you can choose. It's your choice. You can choose to hang on to that and to hang on to that hate and that blame and everything that keeps you down, or you can choose to forgive and move on, right? Because here's the thing. People can defame your name, they can steal your things, they can break whatever it is that they want, but they'll never steal your soul.
Mhm.
That's yours. And forgiveness is the greatest key. I was an angry, miserable fucking person growing up. I was so miserable that my family didn't even want to be around me. Like, I was not a good human being. I played the victim because my mother was killed, right? I played the victim when people stole money from me. I played the victim when I couldn't get a raise in my job or I got fired, or I always played the victim. And guess what happened? It kept me small and it kept me there. It kept me continuously losing jobs and continually not having the success that I thought I was meant to have in this life, until I sat down and, one, I forgave myself, right, for having those thoughts, but I forgave others. Hopono ono ono. It's love and forgiveness, and it's being able to send that out no matter how bad somebody hurts you. You ever see those stories about families who, their children were murdered, or somebody in their life was murdered, and they meet up with the murderer and they forgive? Like, you can literally see the weight just lifted off of them and they're able to move forward in life. I had to forgive. I don't even know who the people were who killed my mom, but I had to forgive them. And I would drive. And the ironic thing is that I would drive over the spot that she was killed at, and I would have hate and anger. And I say, "This is my life. This is how it's meant to be? Is that I have to drive over and be reminded over and over again that I'm motherless over and over and over again?" But then I had to forgive, because forgiveness makes you stronger, makes who you are. It makes you a better person, and it makes the universe and God, spirit, whoever you believe in, connect you to what your higher goals are and your higher self.
It's so true, Sarah, because if like I think everybody's been in a spot in their life where they had to forgive somebody or something for a certain thing. And when you do, because the situation, the thing that happened probably was out of your control anyway. So when you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to forgive this, because you realize that it's just going to be a cycle your entire life if you don't. Like you just said, you can feel the weight lifted off your shoulders. You can feel your mind literally empty
Yeah.
of all the stuff that's been going on forever, because you said, you know what, I need to be at peace with this, even though I couldn't control it, and I need to forgive it.
Yeah.
Because in order to move forward, you have to.
Yeah. Because it's a long, suffering life if you're trying to always get payback, right? Or revenge. I used to always want to get revenge. Oh, I'm going to sue them and I'm going to take them here and I'm going to get this and this is going to happen. And it's exhausting mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It's exhausting when we live in that fear of, like, I just need to do this. I have to get back at them. What's the saying, like, one wrong, two wrongs don't make a right,
Yeah.
right? I really had to learn that. I had to learn that so much, is that two wrongs don't make a right. And I had to learn how to, again, for that forgiveness and say, you know what? What's the lesson? Now it's always like Donnie and I immediately are like, what is the lesson? What's the lesson that we need to learn in this? And I think back
Mhm.
to all the greats who have had massive success and then lost it all, massive success and then lost it, or people who work at a job and then got fired or something like 2 years before they were to retire. right? I think of those people and listen to their story, and I follow them and I learn from them. And yes, I have to learn from them this mistake, and I will learn from this mistake, and I will move forward, and I will live, and I will love, and I will let go, and I will forgive, and I will move on.
And you will get over it, just like you've gotten over everything in your past, right? And the thing is that every mistake, everything that happens that we obviously don't want to happen, that's when the thoughts come, and the fear is the worst thing that you can do. And fear is man-made, right? And a thing that also hit me today when we were doing our studies was that death is a fear,
Yeah,
but we never die. So many people fear death. Like
I
so
was one of
many
them.
people, yeah, so many people think about what's life going to be like when I die. But the thing is, you yourself, this isn't me. This is my body. Me is the soul that lives in this vessel, right? So when my body is tired and goes to rest, I don't die. I never die. But so many people fear dying when you don't. You literally don't.
So
So,
imagine though, imagine you fear this death your entire life, and you hold on to these grudges, and you hold on to this anger, and then one day you wake up in your, your universe, heaven, whatever you believe in, and you look back and you say, what the fuck was I hanging on to? Why did I do that?
yeah.
Why didn't I just live? Why didn't I experience peace and joy? Like,
And
if the planet were to blow up tomorrow, right? Because we're literally a rock orbiting giant rocks in the universe, and we could blow up at any moment. Would you like be happy that you went through this day all angry? Like, what would you do?
yeah.
Get
So
up
that
with a vengeance and say, "Today's the day that I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna win." Are you taking it with you when you go, or would you wake
yeah.
up with love and enjoy the day?
And that's the thing. And that's so funny that you said wake up with love and enjoy the day, because I was just on the phone too a couple hours ago, and I was talking to an insurance guy, and he was like probably one of the happiest go lucky people I've ever talked to on the phone. And we're making jokes, and he said, are you a convicted murderer? Are you up for any, like, this was an insurance question. I was like, yeah, shit, you fucking found me. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'm just kidding. But then, anyways, he says, so do you have any plans for the day? Any plans for this week? I said, yeah, to live. And he was like, what? And I said, to live. And I don't know why I feel like crying right now, but I almost did. But he's like, that's the best answer I've ever heard anybody say. He's like, because nobody says that. Nobody ever is excited for the day. Nobody's happy to fucking live. Like, literally nobody, because so many people are stuck in their mind of all of the wrong things they did, all the things that happened to them that were shitty. But when you genuinely just come to terms with whatever happened, the mistakes that were made, and you can literally, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, you can literally wake up every morning and have the choice to get over the past, leave it where it is, forgive it, know that it's no longer holding a burden on you and has nothing to do with moving forward. And you can choose every single day to move forward, right? But the thing is, people don't, because they're so stuck in their mind. They're stuck in the mistakes. They're stuck in the what ifs, and they fear everything. Like I've even had talks with my family that fear seeing family because of the way the world is now. And I was also watching another video today, and it was saying about time. Like, time is not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed the next hour of your life, let alone 2 minutes from now. I know people that literally were healthier than a whatever you call it, healthy, like the whatever that
Or
saying is,
healthy as a horse?
healthy as a horse. And like my grandpa, healthy as a horse, had a physical every single year for his job because he had to, got up to go walk and get the groceries out of the garage and fell over dead. Like you never ever know. So the
Never
thing
know.
is, when you're in whatever hardship, any hard time, any mistake you've made, any problem in your life, when you're in that, you have the choice where you can get out of it. You don't have to stay in that thought. And I'm not going to lie and say it's easy because it's not.
No.
Because those thoughts, especially if it's a thought that's been reoccurring or a thought you've had for maybe not the same thing happening, but over and over from something else that's happened, just picture your mind as mud, right? Those thoughts are a truck driving down the same lane. Before you know it, that's a deep rut in your mind that's hard to get out of. And the only way you can get out of that rut is flipping it. Because if you stay in that same thought over and over again, you're literally digging a bigger rut. And the thing is, you're in charge of it. You can make the choice to change that thought. You can make the choice to forgive and get over it.
It's so true. Like, we create these images in our head of, we're going to do this and this and this and this is going to happen. But we don't know what's actually going to happen, right? It's out of our control. And once we understand that and we can come to terms with it, you actually live happier. Like, I'm not happy that the mistake happened. Okay, it took me a long time. I was very upset, and I felt horrible, and I didn't know the lesson that I needed to learn, and now I do. And it was from research and talking to people, and this was my first time. This was the first time that this happened to me. And will it be the last time? I'm hoping. I don't know, but I know that I'm going to take the steps to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And it is hard. And it was very emotional on, myself and on my friends and family and on the other party, right? Like, I feel bad for the other party, of course, too. But I'm learning that I have to forgive and I have to deal with the consequences and I have to move on, right? It's like, I say I call it I called it channeling my inner Trump, because he, in the early 90s, he went bankrupt and he shared his story. And he says, if I kept looking at the bankruptcy, I wasn't looking at the solution, right? So if I keep looking at the mistake, I'm not looking at the future and the solution.
Yeah. Oh, another video to back on what you're talking about this morning was shared in our group, and it was the mind can't comprehend the negative,
Mhm.
right? If I was to tell you right now, don't think of an elephant, you're thinking of an elephant,
A
right?
baby elephant chasing birds. That's the video that I saw. It was so cute. Then he fell and then he ran to his mom. See, so happy.
Yeah. And just like skiers, right? They go through the trees. They don't say, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, because then they're focusing on the trees and they're going to hit a tree. What they say is stay on the path, and stay on the path. Make sure you stay on the path. They're thinking about the path. So then they're going through the trees because that's where the focus is.
Yeah.
That's just like everything in life.
Everything.
Where your focus goes, energy flows. So, what are you focused on? What are you thinking about? Because the more you think about that thing, the more that's going to come about.
Yeah.
So, whatever it is in your life that you're going through, you need to focus on the path that's going to get you out of that.
Yeah.
Because you know what it's like to be there. You know what it's like to stay in that place and what it's going to feel like if you stay stuck there and you're focusing on that. So what are you choosing to give your energy to? What are you choosing to give your focus to?
Yeah. So true.
It is.
Love and light, and whatever happens for a reason. I truly believe that. That's my quote, is that whatever happens for a reason, and everything happens in divine timing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It
So,
totally does.
Hapono ono ono. And if you guys want a mastermind and you want help with this, or you want to help, moving forward and not staying stuck, we definitely can help you with that. We are here every single day. We show up every single day. We are here for you. So make sure you guys reach out to us, subscribe to this podcast, hit the bell on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and reach out to us on Facebook. We'd love to chat with you. and help you move forward to your goals and to live life of love and laughter and peace.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that we talked about this today because there's more people than we know that are out there having hard times and struggling through things. And you don't have to. You don't have to at all. You don't have to be alone. So if you got something out of this video or this podcast and it just struck something in you and you know of a friend or a family member or an acquaintance at work or whatever it may be, and you feel that it could help them and benefit them, please share it out and help them because this topic and the stuff we talked about today really can help a lot of people, and it honestly can change the world if everyone wants to do this.
Yep, I agree. I love you all, every single one of you.
Me too. I love everyone. Awesome. So have an absolutely amazing day, guys, and we will see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.